Good morning, everybody. Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet and all things related to the carnivore diet and a few other miscellaneous odds and ends. And I have no idea what we're talking about today. I'm just going to start walking and see what comes to mind. Or if nothing comes to mind, it'll be a really short video. That happens when you get to be my age. Sometimes you just haven't, you turn on the camera and your mind just goes into a complete blank. But today is actually Saturday. You're watching this on Sunday. So hopefully, by the time you see this, I'll be able to say the Buckeyes beat that team up north. Because, we don't say the M word this week. It's kind of funny if you look at Ohio State's campus. They actually go around and literally every sign that has an M on it gets X'd out with red tape for this week. There are no letter M's to be found anywhere on the Ohio State campus. So it's kind of fun. But it's a little earlier in the morning than I usually walk. It's only about 43 degrees out right now. But I wanted to get out and get some walking in before the game. And then I'll probably do some more laps after the game. But I saw a really good comment. I don't even remember if it was on, I'm sure it was on my channel, but I've heard some other people mention it. And that's a really big shift in mindset when you can go from having food being the main event of your day to realizing that food is just your fuel to get you through the rest of your day. If eating your food is the highlight of your day, you need to get a hobby or two. But I do remember the one big thing that I wanted to talk about today, and that's I've seen a lot of the comments. I put a poll up. So I'm going to talk about what we're going to do for live streams. Not the live streams in the membership section. These are going to be the open live streams to everybody. We'll deal with the live streams in the membership section when we get enough. I do have 2 members, and I'm thinking about for December just doing a Zoom call with those 2 if they have any questions. But hopefully we'll get a few more between now and then so that I can do a couple of members only live streams. But anyway, the open to everybody live streams. Given everybody's weird schedules and partially based on the votes, I'm going to go live on Friday evenings before Ready Set Keto. So you'll have a kind of a triple play of a Friday evening. You can come watch me, stick around for Ready Set Keto, and then Hungry Heath has his live stream after that. Now, I am not going to start. I have to look. I think it's 5:30 to 6:30 this time, Eastern time. I'll have to check on the exact times, but I'm going to start 15 minutes earlier. I'm going to start at a quarter after, so that if we have a few questions and I run a couple of minutes over, we aren't absolutely hardwired into that 1 hour limit. But the main reason is that I've missed, either the last few minutes of Ready, Set, Keto or the first couple of minutes of Hungry Heath, because I got to run to the restroom. So I'm going to start at a quarter after and plan on ending between a quarter to 20 after, so that you've got a few minutes to run off and take care of business before you sit down to the main event of Ready, Set, Keto and Hungry Heath. Those are, if you're not already watching both of those, you should be, because those guys are all really nice. And then, other than those four, I'm still trying to decide between Tuesday and Thursday. Those of you in the UK and farther points east, let me know which one would work better for you. Once a month, I'm basically going to do a live stream, probably either the second Tuesday or the second Thursday of every month. I'm going to get myself put together and try to start it by about somewhere between 9 and 10, maybe even a hair later, depending on how far east the audience goes. Because I'd like for people over there to be able to get their questions answered too. And because I know if I wait till noon to start it here, that would be 6 o'clock in the UK in the evening. But I know I've got several viewers in Poland, and I'm not sure how many more hours difference that is. So if I could back it up to like 10 or 11, if I made it at 11, that would be 5 in the UK, and then however many more hours it is over to Poland, that'd be 6 or 7, maybe even 8 o'clock, but it's not getting too late so that they're ready to go to bed. Because I do appreciate all my viewers, and I know a lot of people have questions that are more complex than, writing it out in the comment of a video and then waiting for an answer. And then if you have a follow-up question, you have to reply to that comment. And then I send it back to you. So that's what I'm thinking about the live stream schedule. I'm definitely, the Friday nights before Ready, Set, Keto is definite. That's going to happen starting the first Friday in December, which gives me like 6.5 days to finish figuring out my software. Everything doesn't have to be done by this first one, But I do at least want to have the stuff in place so that I can put your comments up on the screen. And then we'll move forward from there. I'm sorry, it's kind of hard for me to think about other things right now because it's about 2.5 hours to kickoff in Columbus. And for those of you that don't know about, Ohio State versus that team up north, this is our one game season. Yes, we've had a really good season. We're 11-0, ranked number 2 in the country. But if we don't win today, the season will feel like a complete loss. That's just the way it goes. I mean, back in the day when Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler were the coaches, the rivalry was so intense. Because, that was back in the days when they took buses everywhere. And Woody, if we were traveling up there, Woody would stop at the last store in Ohio, make the buses stop there, and everybody had to buy all the snacks that they thought they would want for the day there, because you were not allowed to spend money in that state up north. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, when I was a kid, I had a friend. I had no idea. Yeah, just one. No, but he lived fairly close by, and I invited him over to watch the Ohio State-Michigan game with us. I had no idea he was a Michigan fan. Oh, I said the M word. But we sat down, started to watch the game. That other team scored, and he cheered. And the whole room fell silent. And even though he was one of my best friends in the world, Mom said, "You have to leave. I'll drive you home real quick so you don't miss any of the game, but you can't be here." I don't feel quite as strongly about it all, but there is still a little piece of me from back in the day growing up that I certainly do feel it. As you can see, I got on one of my baggy old t-shirts today because it's coming up on laundry. I normally do laundry on Thursdays, but that was Thanksgiving, and I was not going anywhere near town yesterday on Good Friday. Not Good Friday, Black Friday. The craziest shopping day of the year. I wasn't going anywhere near town on that. And of course, between watching the game and getting video filmed, I didn't feel like I'd have enough time to get all that done on top of going into town and doing laundry. And I have no idea how busy laundromats would be on Saturday, probably packed. So I just dug out another one of my old ultra baggy shirts. It's cold out, so I put one of my base layers on underneath of it. And I may have picked one that was a little bit too warm, because I've only done about 2.5 laps and I'm already starting to sweat. But yeah, Saturday morning is like the switch has been turned back on. I've been sitting out here at the church with not a sign of anyone in the parking lot. And now, just like that, pastor's truck is here. Pastor Brandon is back from his vacation in New Mexico. And Miss Jessica is here. She's I think her official title is church secretary, but I know she's the first desk you come to when you go into the offices. And her husband is the youth minister here. So there are people here. And that's also why I'm not out on the trail today. It's Saturday. It'll be busy. As hard as it rained Thanksgiving night into Friday, I'm sure the trails are still dripping with water and mud. I don't think I'm quite ready to do mud yet. But I got a lot of good positive feedback on my new camera setup. And as soon as Amazon gets here today, I can do the official, I'm already a dorky YouTuber. I went ahead and bought the headband to hold the camera. So I envision it sitting literally right above my eyes so that you can see exactly not only what I see, but what I'm looking at. But I got a lot of positive feedback on that other view. So I'm going to start doing that a lot more. I'm hoping that the headband is tight enough because that camera's in 2 sections. The top part can be used by itself, but the battery that's in that will only run for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now I may get longer out of it because I'm only recording in 1080p. All the benchmarks that I saw on it were talking about recording in 4K. But 1080p is plenty enough for making YouTube videos. But to charge it, you have to take it and connect it to the battery base. But with the battery base, I can get, a couple hours of recording time out of it. So I'm hoping the headband, I can get it tight enough that the camera will stay up straight and not sag way over. But we'll see how that goes. I'm going to turn the corner here and head back up towards my trailer and get a drink of water. But through the power of editing, it'll be like I was never gone. See, it was like I was never gone. But one of the things that I remembered I did want to talk to you about today, because you see a lot of these videos popping up on the interwebs the day after Thanksgiving. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for talking about this, Because now remember, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I'm not a scientist. But let's talk about all these ridiculous people out there that are putting out videos about how to keep fit during the holidays, how to survive the holidays, how to not gain weight over the holidays. And I'm sure there are some of them that are very good, that offer very good advice. But if you dig into a lot of them, they're still just talking about the calories in, calories out, eat less, move more. That does not work, has never worked, will never work. For most people. Now, I mean, there's a few people out there, like take me for instance. I'm sure now that I'm breaking the 7-mile mark on my walks, I only did it once, by the way, probably not going to get there today due to time constraints, but if eating less and moving more worked, why are we as a country so fat? Because it doesn't work. But yeah, as I started to say, me walking 7+ miles, I could probably get away with eating a little more, because you do burn energy doing the type of strenuous exercise that I'm doing. The problem happens, and I strongly suggest you go watch Professor K talk about this, because he is one of the experts. The problem with reducing your food intake is that your body's basal metabolic rate, I hope I'm saying that right, that just means the rate at which you metabolize and use the fuel in your body at rest. That means just laying in bed. It doesn't account for anything, including, standing up and running to the restroom and back. That uses a little more energy because you're not just at rest. But the problem with reducing the amount of food you're taking in is that if you are in a continuous deficit of energy, your metabolism will slow down because it thinks you're in a starvation mode. It thinks that food is scarce, so it starts shutting off systems. And it's like, I don't know. Well, most of my crowd is old enough. You remember the days, back in the 60s and 70s. You're driving down the road on a hot day, and you notice that the temperature of your car is rising just a little bit, and you don't want it to overheat. So you turn on the heater. It got really hot inside the car for the passengers, but it blew some of that excess heat off the motor. Or if you were starting to get hot, starting to overheat on a hot day and you had the air conditioning on, you'd turn the air conditioner off. You'd cut down on one of the non-essential systems. And your body will do the same thing. As it realizes, hey, we're not getting enough fuel in, even though it has the stores of fat to use, it will still say we're not getting enough energy in. So we need to shut off some essential systems, some non-essential systems. Until you train your body that there's going to be plenty of fuel and it can use the fat stores. And if you're still in a state where your insulin is always running high, we've talked about this before, you cannot reduce. Your body can't access the fat to oxidize for fuel if your insulin's constantly high. Because when your insulin's up, you're in storage mode. So it just doesn't work out. You cannot starve your way. Well, you can. You can. If you just stop eating altogether and you fast for 20, 30, 40, 100 days, I think the record is 303 days or something like that, you will lose a bunch of weight. But it won't be healthy. And then what do you do afterwards? You never taught yourself the right way to eat. But to finish the thought that I started, I don't know, 1,000 steps ago or so, the eat less, move more just doesn't work, because eventually your body's going to adapt and slow down, so that you then have to eat less and move more again to continue on your journey. If you had to eat less to shed weight, and when I say weight, we're really talking about fat here, because nobody says, oh, I want to lose muscle, I don't want to be as strong. Nobody says, I want to lose some bone density so the next time I fall I can break my hip. Nobody says that. When they say they want to lose weight, they really mean they want to lose fat. That's just the way it is. But now granted, over the last 2 months, I have been moving more. But I've also been eating a lot more. Back before I started this walking, 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of meat a day with its associated fat was about all I was eating for my one meal a day. As I talked about a couple of times, there was that one day I pounded down like a 3.5 pound roast. And if there'd been a few bites more, I probably could have eaten a little more. And now I'm still dropping. My body composition is changing. I'm getting more healthy. And I'm now up to averaging, normally it's about between 2 to 2.5 pounds of meat a day, but I don't really measure it. If I get a roast in, And the package ends, because I don't actually pick meat out. I order it online and then just go pick it up. You know, if I'd ordered a 2.5 pound roast and I end up getting a 3.2 pound roast, I don't, cut the ends off of all those and make little pieces to then save up for another meal. I just cook the whole roast. And most of the time I eat the whole roast. Every once in a while I'll have a little left over, but not very often. Because I've always been a pretty big eater. And I'm still a pretty big eater. But if calories in, calories out, eat less, move more, actually worked, not only would Weight Watchers have gone out of business 30 years ago, because everybody would have been skinny, I would not have lost now 117 pounds in under 7 months. 7-month mark comes up on like December the 6th. So I still got like a week to go. I haven't actually looked at the calendar to see what day of the week that falls on. But, so if any of you are watching this, if you actually believe in the calories in, calories out method, or eat less, move more, if you have, some science to explain to me why I'm wrong, I'm happy to be told I'm wrong. As anybody that watches my channel on a regular basis will tell you, I'm not dogmatic about anything. If you have something that's working for you, there's never a reason to change until what you're doing no longer works. And regardless of what method you're using, you could still be doing the old 1970s grapefruit diet. I hope you aren't, because that's a really bad diet. That was a horrible idea. But if you're doing that and still losing weight, that's great. I'm not going to come on here and scold you. Well, if you're doing the grapefruit diet, I might, just a little bit. But, if you're having, let's say, well, I consider her a pretty good friend now, crafty and carnivore-ish. I was rewatching her live the other day, and she was saying the reason she changed her channel title from Crafty and Carnivore to Crafty and Carnivore-ish is she likes a little teaspoonful of keto chow in her coffee. And she was catching some heat from people saying, oh, you can't eat that, that's not carnivore. Well, my take on that is those people just need to keep their trap shut. Because if having that teaspoon of keto chow in her coffee keeps her on track for the rest of the day, and if you haven't watched any of her videos, you probably should. She's really crushing it over there on her channel. But if that little teaspoon of keto chow is what keeps her on track, the other, 23 and a half hours of the day, then I say good on her. I've mentioned this a couple of times. I've got someone in my comments that still has a couple little nibbles of dark chocolate at the end of their meal. Is that ideal? No. Is that carnivore? No. However, if those couple little nibbles of dark chocolate keep her on track for the other 23 and a half hours of the day, then I say eat that dark chocolate. Enjoy it. Now, are you ever going to completely break free from your sugar addictions while you're doing those things? Probably not, but I'm no scientist. I don't know. And however it works out for you, that's great. I mean, the lesson I learned on Thanksgiving is that I'm not a moderator. I can't just try something in moderation. Because I really did not even realize I'd picked up that second piece of cake until it was about half gone. And then, of course, my sugar-addicted brain says, well, you've already eaten half of it. You might as well finish it off. Ain't no use letting it go to waste. So, that's where we're at. I feel like I've rambled on quite a bit here today about not a lot of anything. But that's okay. The real point of these videos is to just get out here and walk and give you guys something to listen to in the background while you're doing your walks or whatever it is that you're doing. But I think for now we're going to cue the music. Okay, cut the music. Thank you. If Eat Less, Move More worked, why are so many people still obese? Why are so many people still overweight? Why are all of those diet companies that push that still in business after multiple decades of pushing this on people. If eat less, move more works, how do you explain me eating 2 to 3 pounds of meat a day and being down about 117 pounds in just under 7 months? Please feel free to explain that to me. So I could not get the merch shelf to work, so I took that down, and now down in the description of this video, and as I get time, I'll add it to, go back and add it to other videos, but you'll find a link in the description to my merch store. Not that I expect anybody to actually want to buy anything, but if you do, it's there. It's got coffee cups and hats and shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and all that stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think about my planned live schedule. If you have any suggestions on how to improve it, let me know. You know me, I'm always open to listening to people. But don't forget to get out there, be 1% better tomorrow, folks. I will see you in the next one.